The Idiot's Lantern was Mark Gatiss' second Doctor Who episode in 2 years, and it would be his last until 2010. It's not as successful as The Unquiet Dead, with an underexplained alien threat and a dubious ending. It all falls a bit flat, and it's no wonder it took a while for Gatiss to come back. The setting is London in 1953, around the time of the Queen's coronation, but nowhere near the actual procession, as that would cost a fortune to recreate. The focus is on the Connolly family, with Father Eddie ruling over his wife and son with an iron fist. We don't actually see him hitting them, but the implication is definitely there. So it is a relief when the Doctor and Rose arrive to turn the tables on him. The Doctor shouting at Eddie is a great wish fulfillment moment for any kids watching with abusive fathers, and Rose joining in shows how confident she's become since meeting the Doctor. The family's grandma is locked up in the attic, and the reveal of her featureless face would have been quite scary for kids. Any adults watching would be too busy wondering how she can breathe, let alone eat or drink. None of this is explained, so it all feels a bit undeveloped. Oddly, we don't see her actual transformation, as that happens in the TARDISode, which is only available now in low quality on YouTube. The older generation's worries about TV turning people into mindless zombies are probably where the whole idea for the episode came from, but it doesn't really work as a metaphor. Maybe it would have been more fitting if the victims had ended up with square eyes. The Doctor follows the abducted grandmother to a warehouse where she has been taken by the police to be locked up in a cell with all the other faceless people who just stand around clenching and unclenching their fists for some reason. The interrogation scene is well done, with the Doctor turning the tables on the inspector and ending up interrogating him. The real villain is revealed when Rose visits Magpie's electrical shop, another sign of her increased confidence, but she gets her face sucked off by the wire, played by Maureen Lipman. She's a veteran performer and gives a classy turn here, nailing the cut-glass accent of the TV presenter whose form the wire takes, and dripping venom when talking to the Doctor. Her cries of "hungry" are a bit much. I guess they wanted her to have a catchphrase, but it's not really necessary. Once the Doctor finds out the wire's plan, it's straight into the big finale, with the Doctor and Magpie climbing up the mast at Alexander Palace, which is a decent set piece, before the wire is captured and everything goes back to normal. It all ends with a street party in which Eddie is chucked out by his wife, and good riddance, but the Doctor and Rose encourage Tommy to go after him. This feels really undeserved. Eddie is portrayed throughout as just a petty-minded tyrant who doesn't deserve a relationship with his family, and you can't help thinking that Tommy would be a lot better off without him. The world of 1953 is recreated with all the detail you might expect, with the Connolly house and Magpie's shop full of period detail in every corner, and the street party scene packed with extras in costume. It's not a particularly colourful period, so the Doctor's moped and Rose's dress add some visual flair, and the director shoots just about every scene at a Dutch angle to give you the feeling that there's something not quite right going on, which is fine to start with, but they do overdo it as it goes on. Gatiss' love of the period is apparent throughout, with the wire delivering classic TV catchphrases, such as "Are you seated comfortably? Then I'll begin," and "Good night, children," everywhere. You can't help thinking he might have been more at home with the story set in a TV studio during the coronation. As it is, there is very little sense of the occasion and lots of empty streets. And the wire is very underdeveloped. All we learn about her is that she was made incorporeal by her people, and she feeds off electrical activity in brains, which somehow results in people losing their faces. It all feels very slapdash, and more like something from a bad episode of the Stergian Adventures than Doctor Who. So despite all the fun period details, it's just not very satisfying. The DVD has an audio commentary, in which David Tennant talks about how he didn't get to do all the stunts on the moped, and he talks about all the actors he's worked with before in various productions. The production designer Ed Thomas talks about all the period details in the house, and how they got all the old-looking TVs, and somebody called Charlie from Millennium FX tells us which of these faceless people were CGI, and which were done practically. As you might expect, Tennant takes the lead, and he's always good value in these tracks, happy to talk about everything. The Doctor Who Confidential episode has Mark Gatiss in various guises, sometimes bald, sometimes bearded, sometimes just narrating. Russell T Davies praises his writing. We see them filming the scene where they climb the radio tower, which looks a lot smaller in real life, and we see them changing the doors and windows around for the street party. Plus we see Maureen Lipman filming her scenes in full colour, where she looks a lot more glamorous. Overall, the 50s setting looks great, and Maureen Lipman is a solid villain, but the plot isn't up to much. I'll give it 4 out of 10. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy my reviews, you may want to check out my Patreon, where you can read my reviews of 7th Doctor novels and 8th Doctor audios, among other things. Next week, it's the Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit. I remember that one being much better, with the Ood and the Devil and the cool alien planet. So press subscribe to see what I think of it now, and I'll see you next time.